The sun is slowly sinking behind the horizon, casting long shadows over the endless stretch of fields and forests that mark the edge of a newly formed settlement. The air is cool, but not too cold, just enough to let the day slip away into the stillness of night. You can feel the quiet, like the world is taking a long, peaceful sigh. The rustling of leaves is almost like a lullaby, and if you close your eyes for just a moment, you might be able to hear the faint murmur of wildlife settling in for the night. It's not quite dusk yet, but the twilight is approaching, and with it, a gentle stillness that blankets everything. You're walking along a dirt path, boots crunching softly underfoot as the chirp of crickets begins to pick up, almost as if they're waiting for you to settle into this place, into this time now, before you get too comfortable, before you doze off into the soft embrace of history. Let me warn you, you probably won't make it through this entire day, and that's perfectly fine. After all, you're here to relax, not race through the past. This journey through colonial America isn't meant to be rushed. It's a slow walk, a quiet wander through a world that seems far removed from today. The past was simpler, but not always easier. People lived differently, but not too differently from the way we do now, in the little moments, quiet, repetitive, and often unnoticed. As you breathe in that fresh evening air, remember to let go of the world you know now. Let your thoughts slip into the past, like a cool breeze sweeping through your hair. This is a place where your imagination can wander freely. Maybe you're sitting beside a fire, or you've just returned from a long day of tending to your small plot of land. Perhaps you've just traded a piece of wool for something a little more useful. Whatever you're doing here, take it easy. I encourage you to settle in, take a deep breath, and let this world take over for just a while. Now, let's ease into tonight's journey, where we'll walk through a land still learning how to breathe, just like you. The year is 1750, and the world around you is vast and open. The settlers of colonial America were starting to figure things out, bit by bit, and the land whispered its secrets, waiting for them to listen. You're starting to notice the little things now. The rustle of leaves underfoot is accompanied by the faintest sound of something in the distance. A fox, perhaps, or maybe a raccoon skirting through the underbrush, looking for a meal. The evening calls of birds echo through the trees, and you can almost feel the cool breath of night settling in. The day's work is winding down, and the air is filled with a sense of simple satisfaction. The people who lived here, these early settlers, didn't have much in the way of luxury, but they had a rhythm to their lives that came from the land itself. There were no schedules to keep, no meetings to attend, just a slow, steady flow of tasks that marked each day. You hear a low voice, the murmuring of a neighbor perhaps, talking about what tomorrow's work will look like. Maybe it's a reminder to fix the fence or to harvest the beans. Everything was interconnected, just like the very earth beneath your feet. You walk past the small homes made of timber, sturdy but basic. Their walls are rough-hewn, the roofs thatched with straw. Inside, the fires burn low, warming the space and filling the air with the scent of wood smoke. There's a simplicity to it, all nothing showy, nothing extra, just the basics. You're reminded that even with all their toil and effort, the settlers were constantly looking for ways to conserve their energy. There was no time for extravagance here. Time was a precious thing, always ticking away. As the day melts into the softness of evening, the people begin to gather, some walking to the small, modest church at the center of the settlement. The flicker of candlelight from inside spills out into the darkened streets, marking the end of another day. The church bell rings, but it's not a hurry. It's just a call to prayer, a time to center one's thoughts for the night. You could imagine the gentle hum of voices as they kneel and give thanks, their hands folded in quiet prayer. For these settlers, religion was a steady guide. In the stillness of this place, with the wind brushing softly against the walls of the church, it almost feels like you could hear their prayers if you listened closely enough. Simple, heartfelt words that resonated with the steady pulse of their everyday life. And yet, not everyone believed the same things. Some were still adjusting to this new world, caught between old traditions and the ever-shifting demands of the land. You might notice the older folks still grumbling about the difficulties of settling here, and the younger ones eager to start families and build futures. The conflicts between the old ways and the new were always simmering, like the low hum of a distant storm that you can't quite see, but you can feel it in the air. But for now, it's quiet. You watch the firelight flicker, casting long shadows against the wooden walls. The world seems to hold its breath, as if giving you a moment to reflect, a moment to rest before it all starts again tomorrow. Tomorrow will bring more work, more chores, more quiet rituals of survival. But for now, it's just you, the wind, and the endless stretch of sky above, and perhaps, if you listen closely, you might hear the faint murmur of settlers whispering about what's next. What will the morning bring? Another sunrise? Yes. Another chance to survive. Another day in the wilderness of the unknown. You wake well, not quite wake, more like drift into the next morning, greeted by the low, rumbling groan of someone chopping wood outside. Not exactly a rooster, but it does the trick. The air is crisp, still clinging to the cold breath of night, and a soft mist curls over the earth like the steam from a sleepy cup of tea. You stretch, if only in your mind, and step into a world already in motion. Someone's grinding cornmeal. Someone else is hauling water from the well, the rope creaking, the bucket sloshing. These sounds are the heartbeat of the village. Asterisk inside the nearest home. Breakfast is whatever didn't spoil overnight. Maybe it's cold porridge. Maybe a heel of bread dipped in milk. No one's making pancakes or frying bacon, the hens are. Moody, and sugar is a luxury that arrives by ship, when it arrives at all. Still, there's comfort in the routine. You wrap your hands around a wooden cup of weak, lukewarm tiff. You're lucky. There's some dried mint in it, pinched from last summer's garden. It's not much, but it's yours. You sit on the stoop for a moment, letting the mist lick your face and the world settle around you. Asterisk, and as the fog clears, so does the day's intention. The rhythm of colonial life wasn't dictated by clocks, but by chores. Always chores. Today, it's fence mending, soap stirring, candle making. You stop by the neighbors to swap a needle for some lard. You chat idly. The conversation is slow, full of silences. People aren't in a rush here. Words matter less than presence. Everyone knows what needs doing. It gets done eventually. Asterisk, as you walk through the clearing, your boots catch on something brittle. Dried flax. A woman nearby is preparing it for spinning, beating it with a wooden scutching knife. Her sleeves are rolled, her eyes tired but focused. You pause to watch. There's something almost sacred about the way she works, turning stiff stalks into soft, golden threads. She doesn't look up, but she knows you're there. Hard frost coming, she says. And that's all. It's enough. Asterisk now. A fact, though we'll slip it in like it's just another part of the air. In 1750, homespun cloth was a political statement. England wanted the colonies, dependent on imported textiles, taxed and tightly controlled. But families spun their own, made their own, wore their defiance quietly, stitched into every seam. A revolution in the making, but for now, it's just a shirt drying on a line. Asterisk, you pass the meeting house, again the same one from last night's candlelit prayers. Today, it doubles as a school. A few children sit stiffly on long benches inside, scratching letters onto slates with chalky bits of limestone. The teacher drones, the fire sputters, and you can't help but smile. Even here, even now, someone's trying to make handwriting a thing. Good luck with that, asterisk nearby. A girl sweeps the stoop, her braids bouncing with each motion. Her brother chases a chicken through the dirt. It's all so simple, and yet not easy. Nothing here is easy, but it's honest, and somehow that's enough to hold the day together. Asterisk. As the afternoon sun climbs higher, the air warms just a little. Bees drift lazily between asters. Someone's hammering in the distance, repairing a wagon wheel, maybe. You pass by the tannery. The smell isn't great, but it's familiar. That's where leather gets made. Stretched, soaked, and scraped until it turns from hide to usable material. It's work that stains your hands and lingers in your clothes, but again necessary. Like so many things here, it's rough but real. Asterisk, you sit under a tree now, the bark pressing gently into your back. Someone's dog trots over and flops beside you, tail thumping. There's peace in this moment. No noise but birdsong, wind, and the occasional grunt of someone hoisting something heavy. You don't mind. It's the sound of life carrying on, quietly and without complaint. Asterisk, and as the light begins to shift, yes, again it's time to head home. There's stew bubbling on the fire, and someone's already laid out the bowls. Just beans, herbs, a shred or two of salted pork if there's any left. You take your seat on the bench, the wood cool and worn smooth from years of use. No one says grace out loud tonight. Everyone's too tired. But gratitude hums beneath the silence, like a familiar song without words. Asterisk, the night settles slowly. You light a tallow candle, its flame soft and smoky. Shadows crawl up the walls, long and flickering. Someone tells a story, a real one, or maybe not. Something about a neighbor who swore a bear spoke to him once. You laugh quietly, not because it's funny, just because it feels good to hear a voice. Asterisk, and somewhere in the dark beyond the walls, an owl calls. The world grows softer by the minute, and you're still here, drifting again, wrapped in the ordinary magic of a day well spent. Asterisk, you stir just a little, and realize the fire's gone low. Only glowing coals remain, like the heartbeats of sleeping stars. You add a log with one hand, not even thinking. The routine is in you now. The rhythm, the quiet expectations, the tasks that don't need saying. Colonial life isn't loud, it's a slow, steady hum, like wind across a field or the creak of floorboards under bare feet. Asterisk, outside, the moonlight paints the ground in silver. You hear the soft steps of someone passing by, their lantern swinging. In rhythm, it's probably Mary the midwife, heading to the Johnson cabin. Their youngest is teething again. Mary's been awake for 3 nights, but she never complains. She always shows up. That's what people do here. They show up, whether it's pleasant or not, especially when it's not. Asterisk, you step outside too. The air is cold now, the kind that wraps around your ears and clings to your sleeves. You walk toward the barn, not for any reason, just because. The animals murmur inside hooves, shifting, a gentle snort, the soft rustle of straw. The cows are warm and still, their breath puffing out like clouds in the dark. You lean against the doorframe and listen. Even the animals know it's not time to fuss, not yet. Asterisk, remember that flax field from earlier? It's just across the clearing. And there, at its edge, stands the same woman from before, her silhouette motionless in the moonlight. She's still working, or maybe she's just standing, letting the cool night wash over her. She knows what the coming weeks will bring. Frost, hunger, darkness that clings to the morning, but also spring. Eventually, always, eventually. Asterisk, you wander back slowly. There's no reason to rush. You pass the trading post, shuttered now. Earlier, someone brought in a bundle of rabbit pelts, traded for needles and a square of chocolate Trial chocolate, probably smuggled in through Boston. You smile, even here. Even now, there are indulgences, quiet little luxuries that feel bigger than they are. Asterisk, now, a soft fact, tucked in your blanket of sleepy thought. In 1750, nearly 90% of colonists lived in rural communities. Cities like Boston and Philadelphia were exceptions, not the rule. Most people lived exactly like this among trees, fields, neighbors they knew too well, and sky that never ended. The so-called wilderness was home, and they made peace with it, one small, stubborn choice at a time. Asterisk, the stars are clearer tonight. You tilt your head, finding shapes, forgetting their names. There's no telescope here, no glow from electric lamps, just open sky and your own imagination. Someone once said the stars were holes poked in the fabric of heaven. Looking up now, you can almost believe it. Asterisk, the last thing you hear before slipping back into stillness is the soft creak of a door. Someone settling onto their porch, maybe with a pipe, maybe just to listen. No one says a word. They don't need to. In this place, in this hour, silence is a kind of companionship, and the world is still turning, slowly, gently, beneath your feet. Asterisk, the wind shifts. A branch snaps in the woods. A baby cries softly. The night holds all of it without flinching. Asterisk, and you rest in the middle of it, warm and quiet, exactly where you're meant to be. The night feels like a soft breath, quiet, steady, and endless, as though the world itself is asleep. The crackling of the fire fades into a low, almost imperceptible murmur, and for a moment, you're unsure if you're awake or dreaming. The walls of your home are lined with the soft, worn edges of daily life, a woolen blanket draped carelessly across the back. Outside, the world is still, the trees swaying gently in the cool night breeze, the stars twinkling faintly above. You can hear the occasional shuffle of feet from nearby cabins, the murmur of voices, sometimes laughter, sometimes murmured prayers, but it all feels like a distant echo, softened by the blanket of night. Everyone here, tucked away in their homes, is finding solace in the same small, repetitive tasks. The grinding of grain, the mending of clothes, the lighting of candles. Life, it seems, is made up of these quiet moments, strung together like pearls on a thread. They are simple, but they are everything. As you sit by the fire, your mind drifts to the life of those who came before you, the settlers who looked out at this vast, untamed land and decided it was home. The families who worked the earth by hand, carving their lives out of soil and sweat. For them, The land was both a gift and a challenge. There was no luxury here, only the raw, unfiltered reality of survival. And yet, despite the hardships, there was peace to be found in this simplicity. They lived by the sun and the stars, the seasons and the soil. Their days were long, filled with hard work, but there was a quiet dignity in the way they carried on. No frills, no distractions, just life as it was, simple and steady. You think of the animals, the steady rhythm of the horses pulling carts, the cows lowing as they are milked, the chickens clucking softly in their pens. Each sound, each movement adds to the gentle orchestra of rural life. There's nothing to rush for. No deadlines, no obligations, no expectations, just the endless cycle of days and nights, each one flowing gently into the next. The wind picks up slightly, rustling the leaves outside. You wrapped yourself more tightly in your blanket, feeling the warmth of the fire against your skin, the coolness of the night creeping in around the edges. It's quiet, and in that quiet, there is a sense of contentment. The world is at rest, and you are part of it, drifting with the current of time. Everything is as it should be, and yet, somewhere far away in the future, you know that all of this will change. The quiet village you've come to know will grow. More people will come, more houses will be built, more land will be cleared. The wilderness will be tamed, and the rhythm of life will quicken. But for now, in this moment, everything is still you. Feel your eyelids grow heavy, the weight of the day, the stories, the sounds, the world itself pressing gently upon you. The flickering of the firelight softens, the crackling sound blending with the steady beat of your own breath. The world outside is vast, but it feels small tonight. It feels close, and as the last embers of the fire burn low, you let go. You let the silence wash over you. The night settles in like a soft quilt. You are part of it, know of this world, this time, this place. And as you slip into the embrace of sleep, the sounds of the evening distant voices, the rustle of the trees, the soft cry of an owl become the lullaby that carries you into dreams. It's enough to simply be here in this moment, beneath the stars, with the world resting gently around you. Time will move on, as it always does, but for now, the night is yours, and you can drift as quietly and steadily as the settlers did, each breath a part of the unbroken rhythm of life. And so, as the fire burns out and the wind hums its quiet song, you rest. You are part of something bigger, something simple, and something beautiful. The past, the present, the future, they all merge here in the quiet of the night. And tomorrow, the sun will rise, just as it always does, bringing with it a new day, a new rhythm, and the same steady peace that has always been. Good night.